Welcome to Debate of the Week, ladies and gentlemen. This is about Charlotte Flair. I thought I'd do our truth first, but I say, why not leave our truth for last? This is about Charlotte Flair, Ric Flair's daughter. Now, let's go in a perspective of what Charlotte Flair truly represents. This is a second-generation superstar that might get somewhere in life as a wrestler, a professional one. Not everyone can actually live up to their heritage of their relative. I mean, let's be honest. Vern Gagne's son could not live up to his father's expectations. I'm sorry, he could not. Let's look at, I miss him so much. I miss Dusty Rhodes. But when you look at Dustin and you look at Cody, have they lived up to the expectations of their father, Dusty Rhodes? You could say with Dustin as Goldust, he has cemented his own legacy. He was part of the Attitude Era, so he has cemented his own legacy. Cody is still very young, so he has not cemented his legacy. And neither one of them are on TV right now. I believe they just went away for a while because of their father's death, which is understandable. Cody's wife is still there. Brandy is still there. But Cody and Goldust are not there, and I think they just needed some time. So I'm just saying, Cody, Dustin, I'm sorry. I love your dad. I know they'll never see this, but I'm just saying it because that's how I feel. Take the time you need to come back, and I hope you come back better. But taking away from the death of Dusty Rhodes, what does Charlotte Flair have compared to her dad? Now, when you compare them physically, let's be honest here. Ric Flair is one thick-built guy. Well-built. When you look at Charlotte, she doesn't have the curves of a woman. She has the curves of a man. Sorry about that botch. She actually looks very slender. She's a woman, you could tell. But she's a tomboy type of woman. You could see that she's slender. She does have boobs, she does have a butt, but she doesn't have any hips. And most people probably think that's a guy right there. But I can see that's a woman. But you can see in her face, she looks a lot like a daddy. When you see how she stands in the ring, how she holds her arms, her natural tendency is to act and position herself just like her father. This is genetics. This isn't something she just practiced. This is actual genetics. You can see that when she's working, she's not doing it because she wants to be just like her dad. She's doing it because that's how she is. So in most cases, she has the formula to be a great wrestler. She has a good build, so she doesn't have a lot of curves. So she can pull off more better moves than most women. Because let's be honest, and I'm not being disrespectful to any woman who is a former wrestler or a current wrestler, but having a lot of curves a lot of times, a lot of big boob, a lot of big butt, kind of limits you to a certain extent. Just like a guy who's really overweight, like Yokozuna, he's one of the rare guys who can run and do things in the ring that no one's ever seen. The Big Boss Man, when you look at Big Van Vader and Bam Bam Bigelow, these are the exceptions to the rule of when there's a big guy that's just not fast, they're just not agile. But these guys were. But when it comes to women, it's not much different. If they're built in a certain way, they really can't all perform the right moves they really want to effectively. Not 100%. So in her case, because she's more built like a guy, she will have more advantages than a regular woman. She's also very tall, so most moves will be more accentuated on top of that. She literally can make another person look good by just her sheer size of height and form of muscle. She's a very muscular woman who's very tall and very slender. That can accentuate any partner that is a woman. And that will make the other woman look great, who has maybe medium-sized curves or very heavy-sized curves, or even about the same build as her. But here's the thing that we really have to deal with. Can she get somewhere in the WWE? Every woman that has gone through the WWE in the last 7 years Have they been able to do anything properly? Have they ever been able to get anywhere? Only a few. E. Torres is one of those few that managed to get there. Tori Wilson, to a certain extent, did. Ashley, Kelly. But let's be honest. For most of those people like Melina, they had to play around and do something in the back. And I'm not just talking about politicking. Some of those women actually had sex with some of the guys that are in positions of power, or several wrestlers who could get them some power. Now, I'm not saying that Charlotte Flair is that type of person. There are women that are in wrestling that have never done that. Let's be honest. Michelle McCool has never been heard of doing those types of things. And she's married to basically The Undertaker. She's a good woman. And I'm not saying every woman in wrestling is nasty. But let's be honest here. As much as she's very well off, she's going to end up like a Natalya. This is the way I see it. Natalya is truly the first third generation female wrestler that existed. There's always been second generation women wrestlers. But she's the first third generation woman wrestler that has been on a national and international platform. She has done things that no one else has ever done because she's a third generation. That's who she is. For Charlotte, she's a second generation. And she's a second generation to the most well-known and most loved wrestler in history next to Hulk Hogan. So I just don't see her getting any higher than a Natalya. She'll get some spots. She'll probably get the women's title within about a year or so. Within a year, she'll probably get it. She also will probably get maybe one or two real storylines within the next 2 years. But when you really see it, I don't see anything great for her being in the WWE. Maybe she'll go on Total Divas, but what the hell is that? That's a fucking reality show that's supposed to help the WWE. And it really doesn't. Because any storylines that are done on Total Divas, they're not 100% played out on Raw SmackDown for the simple reason the writers don't write for them. You could have actually had a true feud between a Cameron and Alicia Fox. A Cameron versus an Eva Marie. You could have had a full match between Summer Rae and Natalya. They went there. That's the only one they ever went there with to a certain extent because they legitimately really didn't like each other. But they worked it out because they were able to work in the ring. But that is the only time we've ever had that. That was over 2 years ago. No, not 2 years ago. Maybe a year and a half to 2 years ago that actually happened. I mean, let's be honest here. They don't sponsor the women well. So if you actually think that a Charlotte Flair is going to get somewhere higher than a Natalya and be on top, I just don't see it. Look at Paige. Paige is not getting anywhere. And she's a second generation women's wrestler. Her mom is a British wrestler that worked in her own promotion. And she was champ. She beat her own mom and look where she is now. She did great last year. Where is she now? Absolutely nothing. But I'm hoping I could be wrong. But what do you guys believe? Leave a comment below about Charlotte Flair. The wheeling and dealing. Well, maybe not whining and dining. And I'm not going to say the B word to her because, well, you could say female son of a bitch. Like her daddy, the wheeling and dealing, whining and dining son of a bitch. Styling and profiling Charlotte Flair. I had to go there. I'm sorry. If I disrespect any women, I'm sorry. But this is my thoughts. What are yours? So I hope you enjoyed this debate of the week. Please give me a comment below. Look for my R-Truth because that's next. And how I feel about him, what he should be doing. Have a good day and have a good night. Peace out.